Hey, welcome to this week's edition of the Table Talk podcast. I'm Caleb. I'm here with David. It is sunny. It's pretty outside. It's Thursday. We're a couple days behind this week, but it's been a good week. How are you doing?
Doing really good. Excited for this upcoming series.
I am too.
And ready to dig into that. But it was a good series that we just finished up. And, man, like you said, the weather is perfect. And the school is closing.
Yep.
You know, we're getting to the end of the school year. People are just happier to be out and about. We have Chad Wright, the intern for the summer. We'll be introducing him up on stage. He's already been introduced online, but he's in the room with us right now, listening in. And
sounds like Batman.
Yeah.
Chad is in the room.
Chad is in the room somewhere. And so it feels like summer's in full swing. And we were just looking at the calendar, me and Chad, and it was like, oh, we have a lot coming.
Going on.
Yeah, and which is a good thing, and it's exciting. But
what's your favorite summer activity?
Well, up until like a year or like a couple months ago, I would have said like probably like hiking or grilling out. I love grilling out, but since we started camping, that's probably
pretty
it
fun.
now. It was like that's been really fun. It's something we're really looking forward to. How about you?
I would say if I can be by water, I'm pretty happy.
Yeah.
By or in water somewhere. So pool or the ocean or anything like that. If I can be by water with a book and some snacks, I'm pretty happy.
I'm good with being by water. I'm just not a huge swimmer.
Yeah.
That's just not like being in a pool. And I think some of that is because it's a lot of work. And then when you have
someone
kids,
else's pool. Yeah. No, not mine. Someone else's
And then
pool.
when you have kids, it's like you're playing in a pool.
Yeah.
It's not like...
Yeah, and I'm not about that life. I don't want to play. I want to sit for hours and read a book and eat extra cheddar flavor blasted goldfish.
There you go.
That's what I want to do. And drink Gatorade.
So it's like you get out of the pool and you're exhausted and tired, and the kids are exhausted and tired. So it's... I mean, I like it, but it's just not...
It's different.
Yeah. So now Lazy River, put me in a lazy river.
I'm about that life.
I can float in a lazy river.
I'm about that lazy river life. Yeah.
So,
but the thing with lazy rivers is you got the kids that are always running through them, and they like that, I feel like I'm becoming grumpy. I hit 30 and I'm like, children annoy me. Yeah. I love them, but stay in your float. It's a lazy river for a reason.
And I'm like, hey kids, just keep going. That's fine. Just don't splash me because it's cold when water splashes on you.
Yeah.
So,
my heart's grown cold.
We're doing this series on worship. And speaking of floating down a river and the relaxation of life and things that can take your attention and throw you off. Although those times are actually ones that recenter me a little bit when I actually have time to think and things like that. But we've been talking about worship, and I just wonder. It was a good reminder for me, and I just wonder if anybody's changed their mindset of what worship is through this series. Like, what does it actually even mean to worship? And you kind of highlighted that a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, worship is, I think just because of the way we have kind of constructed how we do church, we typically just think of worship as, music on Sundays. We might call what we're doing on Sunday a worship service, but really we think about it in terms of music, which is a form of worship, and that's fine. It's a good form of worship. It's a form of worship we see all throughout Scripture, but it's not solely what worship is. Everything we do on a Sunday should be worship. The way we talk and greet each other, like that's worship. The way we read and encounter Scripture, that's worship. The way we sing and praise, that's worship. The way that we teach and receive is worship. The way we go to the communion table is worship. All that's worship. But it still isn't the full thing, because Paul says in Romans 12 that we're to offer our bodies as a living sacrifice. That is our true act of worship. And so worship at its core is giving God what God deserves, honor, glory, and allegiance in everything that we do. And that looks like giving God our whole life. Like that is at the core of it. That's what worship really is.
Yeah. One of my favorite sayings is the hard part about being a living sacrifice is I keep crawling off the altar and have to put myself back on there, because the world, and you talked about this, the world is constantly trying to draw you off of that altar, constantly trying to get you to stop making your life a living sacrifice. What does that even mean? Like what do you think Paul was trying to say when he said, make your life a living sacrifice?
Yeah. I mean, well, for Paul, it was very literal, because he truly did. I mean, think about all the things that he went through. He was beaten, he was arrested, he was stoned, he was shipwrecked, he was tortured, like all those things. Ultimately, he was probably killed, for his devotion to Jesus and his faith in Jesus. So, in the most literal like sense of the phrase, he did become a living sacrifice. I think for us, it starts with just giving every area of our life over to God and saying, "This is yours." Our dreams, our desires, our hopes, our wants, our go down the list, our families, our friendships, our sexuality, our finance, all that stuff. And this is yours. Like I will give it all to you, because I trust you with it more than I trust me, and because you're worthy of it. I think that's where it starts. And when that happens, I think we're afraid that like, well, I'm going to constantly be in tension. And some of that's true. Like we have, we're human, so we're going to constantly be in tension with what God wants at times. But I also think that when we're able to do that, God begins to form us and shape us. And it's actually in that giving it away, giving it to Him, that we find freedom and margin and space for God to actually form us and reshape our desires, our wants, our hopes, our definitions of success and power and all of that. But that doesn't happen until we give it over to Him.
Lay ourselves down and acknowledge that He's the one that's in control.
Yeah.
And to learn to trust in Him, which is a really hard, for me.
It's super hard.
Is the hard part of it is like, all right, I just got to trust God. I got to trust that He knows what He's doing. I got to trust that even when I don't get what I want or what I think is best, trust that God is there for me. And I don't know how practical you want to get with this, but if we were going to make ourselves a living sacrifice, and if we were going to worship with our work or with our what, because I'm just trying to get a little practical.
Sure,
what would it look like at work to be? Because most people listening to this probably have a job. They go to it every week.
Yeah.
And maybe some of them have never thought of it in this way. Like this can be an act of worship. This can be an act of praise and worship to God. What would that even look like?
I mean, I don't know. I struggle with giving like super specific application, because I think that God has different things for each person. But in a broad sense, I do think it could look like praying before your day, and just the physical, like, or the verbal words of, God, I'm giving this day to you. I'm giving my job to you. Help me to work hard. Help me to work in a way that honors you. So honestly, responsibly, kindly, gently, like all of those things. And then I think it's just looking at the people that you are working with or working for or working alongside, and seeing them as people to love and as neighbors, and not as annoying coworkers or as threats to your position or whatever. It's like, if you go into that mindset of, I'm here to serve these people and I'm here to serve God, and God can bless you in that.
Yeah.
And it's the same way with our families too. I think, families can be tough.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing of like, well, I'm serving God. He's coming first. I'm worshiping Him. So I'm going to serve my family the way that He would want me to.
Yeah.
And beyond that point, if it doesn't work out, it's not on you.
Yeah.
Because things aren't always going to go great. Jobs aren't always going to last forever. Families are tense, and there's sometimes things that don't get healed. But like, if we can go into it saying, this is my act of worship, I'm going to serve God by serving the people around me and doing the best I can. We've done our job in that.
Yeah. And I think it's, there's something too that we're saying, like, I'm handing this over to you, Lord. And I'm going to do, I'm going to know and trust that you're going to do. And I was just thinking of family when you said it's very similar to family, and I would say it is. It's very your work relationships, your work life, and things like that is similar to family in the sense that I can, with my kids, I can say, Lord, they're yours. Yeah, they're yours. I'm going to do my best to raise them in the way that they should go. But other than that, like, they're yours, and I'm going to do everything I can to worship as a parent, or as a son or daughter to a parent, if you're younger or whatever, as a brother or sister. I'm going to love, and I'm going to take care of, and I'm going to show Christ through everything I do, and that means doing our best, having people go, man, there's something different about Caleb, about David, about Chad. There's something different. They have a joy. They this isn't just a place that they come and just earn money, and that's definitely a part of it. But like, even when they're here, there's something different about how they do their work. And they're honest, and they're caring, and they love others, and you want to be a light to that. And I think, what was your line about true worship? True worship.
I mean, true worship is giving our highest love, our deepest trust, and ultimate allegiance to God.
Yes, and all of those things. You can do that in work. My allegiance, I love Westtown, but my allegiance is to God over Westtown. My allegiance to God is over my family, over my marriage, over my children. Yeah, my allegiance there is first. Yeah, but love and all of all of that. When you put God first in all of those things, and you live your life as a living sacrifice. It's a hard way of saying it. It can change how you work. It changes how your day goes, and changes your purpose. It actually gives you purpose, because there's probably a lot of people who are listening that just feel like, my job, I feel purposeless, or in my marriage, it feels purposeless, or my relationship, like, what is this all for? It's like, well, if you change it to, this is worship, this is a time of worship, that gives you a purpose for why you're doing it. Yeah. And it changes it from, well, it's just what I do, to, hey, God has me on mission here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It reframes it. Yeah. And I think that is, I mean, ultimately, we said this, I think, in the second week of this series, that the root of idolatry is disordered loves. So it's not that, like, loving other things is wrong. Like, we should love our work. God doesn't want you to be miserable. Like, sometimes we're called to seasons of hardship and we got to endure, but like, ultimately, God's like, go, like, you have freedom. Go do what brings you joy. Go do what brings you happiness. Love your family. Love your work. Love, rest and have fun and play and enjoy, like, creation. God's gifted all of it to us. But the problem is, when we start to love the gifts of God more than God, we cross into idolatry. And so that's just your point about, we reframe it and we give it to Him, and we go, nothing comes in the way of this. If my work, there's also things about, you have to sometimes, you can be a subversive witness in places, right? Yeah. So there's that. I'm not saying that you just, like, cut ties and become a monk, but there are times and seasons where maybe we feel pressure to compromise, and you go, I'm not doing that. Like, that's the line I'm not crossing. And that's kind of what we're getting into with Revelation, honestly, is the problem for the early church in the Roman Empire, for the most part, wasn't that they worshiped Jesus. It's that they wouldn't worship Caesar. Yeah. The Romans were cool with, like, they were polytheists. They were cool with the Jews. They were cool. Well, cool-ish until they try to fight
Yeah.
back, right?
Yeah.
They were okay with people having their local deities or whatever,
Yeah.
but you don't mess with the Roman gods because their whole system was built on, we pay honor to the Roman gods because they protect the empire. We pay tribute to Caesar because he protects the empire. He's Lord and Savior, which is what Christians call Jesus. So that was the compromise that the empire was pushing to them, was to ultimately bow to another god. And that was the compromise that followers of Jesus could not and would not make. And so that's the context for so much of the persecution in the early centuries of the church, is like they're refusing to make that compromise. And I think that's the point of this series, and also what we're getting into, is like our love, trust, and allegiance first has to go to God. There are plenty of other good things that can come next, but we're not going to let anything, take that rightful place that's his.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually called the first Christians atheist because not because they didn't believe in God, but because they denied all the other gods. And it was like, well, how are you denying all these other gods? And it's like, well, because there's one true God, and that is offensive to people who go, but our God, what about our God? And that's offensive to them, and to stick with your loyalty to God it can be tough. And so I'm excited about this series. Revelation is a tough one to preach through. You have to, it's a lot of study and a lot of thinking and a lot of preparing. But I think it's one that probably everybody's interested in. When you're talking about youth group, that was always one. It was like, what do you guys want to talk about? Revelation. And so it was like that was always one that they wanted. So I think people are interested in it because there's a lot of mystery to it, and trying to understand that. I think that'll be really good.
I mean, it's interesting, it's mysterious, it's imaginative, it's fantastical. I mean, it's wild. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings. I mean, just the way it reads. I mean, it is like this, super dramatic, grand narrative. There's dragons and beasts and creatures, and but yeah, it is. It's really cool. It's really fun. I've really enjoyed, because I've been trying to put in some extra work around this, and I always try my best to study and be prepared and do the best that I can. But this, because it's so mysterious and kind of confusing, and because there are so many, like, I would say, unhelpful ways to read Revelation out there, I really put a lot of time into it, and it has just gotten me so excited, because I think it is. It wasn't written to us, but man, it was written for us. Like the message and the theme and the ultimate goal is just so relevant, and so it's relevant across time. But I don't know. I'm really, really excited about it, and I think it's if you guys can bear with me for a little bit, because we have to do a lot of setup work. But if we can get through that, then I think there's some really, really good things that God could teach us and shape us into through this. Yeah.
I would say this week is fairly important for the series. So definitely try to be here. And if you can't be here on Sunday, we understand, but probably try to watch online, because Caleb will be setting up kind of an overview of what the whole book is. He's got a lot to cover. So you can, we'd love to have you here on Sunday. If you can't be here on Sunday, we've got live stream. If you can't be, if you don't want to do that or whatever, we upload those on audio podcasts so that you can listen to the sermon through those also.
Yeah, this week is pretty much, there's a lot to get done. So, we're going to look at kind of how to read the Bible well. Like, we're going to talk about like interpretation, like how to do that well. We're going to talk about why Revelation gets misread, and we're going to kind of walk through the historical, the literary, and the theological context of Revelation to try to give us like the best possible foundation to move forward, because Revelation is a genre of writing that we don't use anymore. Apocalyptic. It's very foreign to us. So Revelation is 3 genres at one time. It's an apocalypse, which is totally foreign to us. We don't write things like that anymore. It's prophecy, which is also not something we spend a lot of time in. And biblical prophecy is something different than like the way we use the word now. And then it's a letter. It's written to real people in a real situation facing real problems. So it's like 3 things in one. And I just think in order to get the most out of the book, the letter, it's not a book, it's a letter, the most out of the letter, we need to have that ground game set up really well. And so I'm excited about it. Mm-hmm. It may feel like a classroom for a little bit, but we'll get to church by the end. So I'm excited, and I think it's really important for us to set this up well.
Yeah, I think it's a great one to do, and it'll be fun to go through. And I'm excited about our conversations on Tabletop Podcast mm-hmm. because I'm sure as it's just like with anything, there's going to be things that we read and we read differently, yep. or we've always thought differently, and maybe yep. It's like, oh, okay, I think I'm excited to yep. dig into all of that and yep. to see what it says.
Yep, me too. Well, we'll kick that off this coming Sunday, and we will talk about Revelation next week on the Table Talk podcast. So be sure to tune in for that. And if you guys have questions, feel free to shoot them in. We'll try to talk about it as best we can. So we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.